afternoon's special guests, gentlemen and colleagues, to this very special final assembly for our Year 12s. We'll commence the assembly with the singing of the college hymn.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be seated? Our reader this afternoon is the College Vice-Captain, Patrick Jaffee.
The following reading comes from Romans chapter 12, verses 9 to 18. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honour one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervour serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with God's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everybody. May God help us in our understanding of this reading from his word.
Headmaster, special guests, staff, students, and especially seniors of 2017. What a superb night Friday night was. The awesome finishes that we saw, we were so well represented by our athletes, and we are so proud of you. And I guess many of us have a variety of images that come to us when we reflect on Friday night. And there was a very interesting image that stuck with me, and that was a BBC runner who ended up in a relay passing the final runner from another school about 2 or 3 metres from the finish line. And the focus came on the runner from the other school who was hopefully about to come second, who stumbled and fell an inch or two before the line. And in fact, I think that runner let the baton drop over the line and then they got up and went over. And I think a number of us who are watching that were thinking, hopefully that guy is rewarded with second place and he won't come fourth or fifth and have people pass him by. And it's a very telling reminder to us that the race, whatever race you're in, whatever you're doing, is not over until you cross the line. And now we enter a very, very unique 2 weeks and 2 days for our senior students. Today is a very emotional day. It's also an interesting day where there is a relinquishment by the 2017 seniors of some responsibilities to our 2018 future seniors. But it's important that we remember that the seniors of 2017 are not quite there yet. There are lots of important things to be done. And the reality is the measure of how well a senior cohort has led often depends on how that cohort finishes. And gentlemen, we know that you will do us proud. It is important to recognise why the next 16 days are of great value. For those who are in year 10 and 11, it is a great opportunity for you, gentlemen, to go to seniors you know and to thank them, to be personal and sincere and genuine in that thanks for the leadership that they have shown you and the friendship that they have demonstrated toward you. It's also important, year 10s, to be supportive of our year 11 students as they take up the mantle of leadership under the apprenticeship of the seniors. It's also important too for year 11 students to think about how you're going to handle your final days at BBC. Briefly, I'd just like to mention one thing to the year 12s. During this 16 days or so, make sure you make the most of that time. Many people will come and give you advice, and that advice will be invaluable. Be open to it. You may not have picked up the fact that the reading today is the end part of the reading that was shared with you at your leadership induction. At your leadership induction, Romans chapter 12, verses 1 to 9 were read. And those verses focused on your gifting and your willingness to use your God-given gifts in leadership. These verses that follow that on your final assembly focus on how we should live. Verses like, let love be genuine, hate evil, honour others above yourself, practice hospitality, don't be conceited, live in harmony. The thing that's fascinating, gentlemen, is if you look at that reading that's on the screen carefully, you will notice that squeezed into that short paragraph are 15 sentences. It's as if the person who's saying it is wanting to pass on final, invaluable advice on how the Romans should live. Gentlemen, embrace this unique season. Your exams are ahead of you. You have many commitments still, but really enjoy these final days. Do not wish them away. And as you wake for each one of these 16 days, make the very most of the gift of every day. We are now going to be led in prayer by our school captain. Thank you, Ben.
Please bow your heads in prayer. Lord, we thank you for the year that is passing and for the privilege that we as seniors have had in being leaders of the college in 2017. As we relinquish those responsibilities over the next week, we ask that your wisdom and strength be with the 2018 seniors as they step up to lead with passion and pride. We thank you too, O God, for the uncertain and yet exciting adventure that lies ahead of us as this chapter of our life begins to close. May your hand be upon us in this time of change. We ask in Jesus' name, Amen.
We are, of course, very proud of all of our seniors, but we're also very proud of our staff. And at this special assembly, I want to make a presentation to the member of our college staff who was nominated by his peers and then recognised by the teaching profession with the award of an Excellence in Teaching Award from the Queensland College of Teachers. Gentlemen, could you join with me in acknowledging the wonderful contribution of Mr. Chicory McSood? It's also my pleasure at today's Assembly to announce the leaders of teams and activities for 2018. Amnesty, Captain James Ward, Co-Vice Captains Harry Briggs and Lachlan Byrne. Rowing, Captain of Boats Liam Dillon, Vice Captain Max Campbell. Theatre, Captain Kian Jones and Vice Captain Benjamin Davidson. Pipe Band, Pipe Major Fergus Russell, Drum Major Isaac Dove, Drum Sergeant Cameron Lawson, Midsection Leader Andrew Thompson. Could we congratulate all of those young men? And there is one announcement now which will be made in relationship to the pipe band, and I call on Mr Quill.
Thank you, Headmaster, and good afternoon, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to read the names of the boys who are recipients of full colours, half colours and lines for their involvement in the pipe band for this year. Our pipe band is, of course, currently the Australian champions in their division, the state champions, and as well they have had great success at a number of regional events, and many of the boys have also competed and achieved success in solo piping and drumming events. So I would ask if these boys would please stand in their place and hold your applause until I direct you to acknowledge their success. Recipients of full colours: Tom Hulbert, Ben Morris, Angus Brian, Dylan Bassingthwaite, Harrison Plath and Cameron Lawson. Would you please congratulate these boys? Recipients of half colours: Sam Tate, Jono Wimberger, Fergus Russell, Andrew Thompson, Henry Hulbert, Jun Sung Oh, Bradley Bloom, Matthew Rutley, Abbas Manchadi, Sebastian Lingain and Isaac Dove. Would you please congratulate these boys? And recipients of line awards: Lachlan Swinburne, Stuart Gardner, Blair Patterson, Hamish Pulsford, Anton Tomei, Samuel Braithwaite, Benjamin Rogers, Christian Bingelli, Liam O'Shea and Oscar Schulte. Would you please congratulate these boys? And lastly, for their success in solo piping and snaring, the following boys receive state championship colours: Benjamin Morris, full colour and crown; Cameron Lawson, full colour and crown; Tom Hulbert, Abbas Manchadi, William Gibson and Harrison Plath, all full colours. Would you please congratulate these boys?
Well, the chaplain's already made mention of what an amazing night Friday night was. Before I make a couple of quick remarks, could I say personally, boys, thank you for your acknowledgement of my service to BBC on Friday night. I was told that we won 43, or we came in the first, second or third place, in 43 of the 69 events, and that is truly an amazing performance. But I think the reason we did so well was it was an incredible team effort. I cannot ever recall the GPS track and field having been won by a margin of 95 points. It is a great credit to all of the boys who were involved in that team. And as we came towards the end of the night, we could hear the cheers of back-to-back. I think it would be appropriate if we asked all of the boys who are members of the track and field team to now stand. Could we acknowledge those young men? And now it's my great pleasure to invite the Captain of Track and Field, Patrick Jaffe, to present the John Goodwin Trophy to me on behalf of the team. And now we come to the solemn and important part of today's assembly, which is the honouring of our seniors. It is indeed my great pleasure today to welcome back Dom Walton, our college captain in 2016. About 12 months ago, Dom, the Senior Assembly sat here spellbound as you delivered your motivational address in the run-up to the 99th GPS Track and Field Championship. History, of course, showed that last year we won the GPS Track and Field for the first time in 74 years. Last Friday night we won again, and for the first time in track and field we achieved the distinction of winning back-to-back. And to say we are excited would be an incredible understatement. What I would like to say, Dom, is that you were an inspirational force at BBC and a wonderful mentor. You clearly inspired this year's captain of track and field, Pat Jaffe, because his words a week ago were also really memorable, and on Friday night there was not a spare seat in the stand. Today we have invited you here, Dom, to welcome our current seniors into the young old boys group, because these young men you see before you in the white shirts will soon replace your 2016 team as the youngest old boys of Brisbane Boys College. We thank you, Dom, for making the time in your busy schedule as you prepare for university exams to come to today's assembly. We trust that today you will be able to share some thoughts about what the first year out of school is really like and how valuable you have found the network of the Old Collegians Association to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I have pleasure in introducing to you a very proud old boy of our college and 2016 school captain, Mr. Dom Walton.
In the words of American writer Mark Twain, the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. Headmaster, distinguished guests, staff, parents, fellow old boys and students of the college, it is an absolute honour to have the opportunity to address you once again. Last time I stood at this lectern was to deliver a prayer like Ben has done today. And I don't want to be that guy who says 2017 has flown by, but in reality, it has. Seniors, I'm here today to share with you some of the wisdom I have supposedly accumulated since leaving school and hopefully ease any nerves you have about reaching the end of grade 12. Now, I know many of you have put enormous amounts of pressure on yourselves this year to perform at the highest level, and you've probably almost reached the end of your race. Firstly, I want to congratulate you. Grade 12 wasn't designed to be an easy year, and you've all made it through with flying colours. Over the next few weeks, as results start to surface, some of you will be pleased and some of you will be disappointed. Seniors, my advice, regardless of the outcome, is to stay level-headed. The results you achieve now should not define the memorable time you have spent at BBC and the limitless opportunity you are bound to face outside these walls. The biggest transition you will all face in the coming months is losing the comfort of this place. Trust me, the break you have leading into the new year is incredible, but decisions about your future do eventually need to be made. Whether it's university, a trade or full-time work, the one bit of advice I could offer is to keep an open mind. If someone had told me that my first job after leaving school would be to come back and work at the school, I probably would have laughed. But that's the reality of life. And for some of you, that means disappointments along the way. Another bit of advice I could offer you is to not expect to change the world overnight. By all means, set your hopes and dreams as high as possible, but don't let failure bring you down. One question that I've constantly been asked for the last 10 months or so is whether I miss school. So, do I miss school? No. School was great while it lasted, but everyone reaches a point when they're ready to move on. And each of you will let go at different points along the way. But every one of you have been educated by this place to face the challenges that await you outside. So no, I don't miss school, but I do miss BBC. Because in reality, BBC has never been College Hall or Miskin Oval. BBC isn't purely about academics or co-curricular activities. Brisbane Boys College is about the boys. You come to realise that being with mates on a daily basis is an absolute luxury, one which is not guaranteed after school. Probably the best bit of advice that I could offer you today is to put as much effort as possible into your friendships, because these men sitting with you in the white rather, will be your mates for life. Despite only being an old boy for around 12 months now, I just really wish I could have one more lunchtime with the boys. Now, I'm told you should never end a speech on a negative vibe, so I thought about what I should conclude this speech with that will be both positive and of benefit to you all. I could tell you all the perks and enjoyments of life post-school, but I'll leave them for you to find out. What I will say is, you should be proud of your time at BBC. You may not know it, but each of you has had a positive impact on someone in this room. Whether it's a mate sitting next to you, a teacher, or another boy, whether younger or older, that you've never even talked to. This journey that we call school is a continuing cycle. You grow up aspiring to be the leaders of the school. But when you eventually get there, it probably doesn't sink in how momentous it is until you actually leave. What you have done as a cohort this year will inspire future leaders to do the same. So hold your heads high and continue to be role models for those around you. Finally, upon graduation, and yes, you are almost there, BBC will continue to offer support for you as long as you need it, especially through the Old Collegians Association. You and I and every old boy who has put on the boater will forever be integrated into the college community. I bid you good luck for the matter of days you have left studying at this great school. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate and bid farewell to one gentleman who will be leaving this school in a truly remarkable state. Mr. McDonald, I wish you the best of luck for your future endeavours, and I would like to personally congratulate you for everything you have done for the school. Collegians who will continue to represent the green, white, black in years to come, I urge you to keep focused and take part in the activities you enjoy and enthusiastically grasp the opportunities that you still have in front of you, because one day you too will be in the position of these fellows here. As they say, the end of one person's journey always starts the beginning of a journey for someone else. Work hard, play safe, and never forget what this place has done for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dom. It's always very hard to follow you as a public speaker. It's my great honour now to introduce a representative of the Old Collegians. Unfortunately, Mr. Chris Hartley, who's the president of the Old Collegians, cannot be with us today. But I am going to introduce in a moment a person who is probably well known to many boys here, because he is currently the Director of Alumni and Community at BBC. And for those boys who are cricketers, they would identify with him as the coach of the first 11. He is indeed a proud old boy who had a very distinguished record as a student at the school. He left in 1999, was captain of football and received half colours for that sport, but probably the sport that he excelled in was cricket, where he received full colours and went on to play first grade for the University of Queensland. It's my great pleasure to introduce, to represent the Old Collegians, Mr. Jared Turner. You ready to go, Jared? And now we'll move to the presentation of the caps, and that will be done with the support of two people you can see coming to the table at the moment, and I will be pleased to assist Mr. Turner with that exercise. At this point in time, for the first time, we are going to invite the Housemasters to announce the names of the students in their house. And so we will soon start with Birtle's house, and that of course is Senior Housemaster Mr. Lawrence Coleman.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to present you with the 2017 Birtles Seniors. Joseph Avuli, Rowan Butters, Nathan Colshaw, Thomas Daly, Jordan Dean, Toby Delphine, Nihal Day, Luke Lovett, Julius Lynch, Benjamin Morris, Cooper Richmond,
Dylan Bassingswaite, Angus Bryan, Jacob Brown, Samuel Brown, William Crook, Nakul Doshi, Jay Evans, Thomas Jolly, Jordan Liu, Hugo Medhurst, Will Metcher, Alistair Moore, Isaac Moore, Finn Morton, Ryan Morton, Connor Myers, Rowan Peter, Maximilian Schulte, Brodie Slade, Alexander Soldatic, Miller Stevens, Nicholas Stoddard, George Thompson, Ewan Berry, House Vice Captain, and Mitchell Clark, House Captain.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to introduce the seniors of Flynn House for 2017. Edward Austin, Benjamin Carline, Boris Chan, Daniel Chen, James Cormack, Matt Drummond, Stuart Gardner, George Humphris, Patrick Jaffe, Finlay King, Edward Lambie, Stuart Lucas, Declan Marr, Bryn Narung, Zachary Nicol, Gert Olivier, Tristan Sherman, Christopher Skelton, Oscar Volmerhouse, Zachary Wells, Healy Williams, Flynn House Vice Captain Ryan Hayes, Flynn House Captain James Wallington.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to introduce the Hamilton House seniors for 2017. Manav Shabra, William Edwardson, Xavier Fletcher, Thomas Fraser, Callum Hayes, Luke Halen, Thomas Kibble, Jackson Kitto, Connor Leggett, Sebastian Lynch, Felipe Menezes, Harry Miller, Michael Reynolds, Joshua Russell, Matthew Tong Law, William Tracy, Samuel Tudor, Gareth Varnfield, Cameron Watkins, Fraser Wayman, Kenneth Wiley, House Vice Captain Cameron Newman, and House Captain of Hamilton House Patrick O'Shea.
And now to the seniors from Knox House. Lachlan Barnard, Matthew Barnes, Thomas Bell, Austin Brain, Lachlan Bunsley, Max Corrigan, Fraser Erskine, Jackson Fielding, Lachlan Grant, Thomas Hulbert, Jordan James, Nikita Cromit, Matthew McGillivray, Jeremy Moo, Mark Nicolaitis, Mitchell Patullo, Will Prest, Tom Snellgrove, Vice Captain of Knox House, Matthew Malins, Knox House Captain for 2017, Angus Shaw.
Good afternoon. It is my honour to present the gentlemen of Mackenzie House for 2017. Vuk Basta, Pranif Pudipudi, Alistair English, Liam Jackson, Jack James, Leo Lee, Jeremy Lloyd, Aaron Lurs, Ben Mason, Bryce Munda, Jeremiah Neuendorf, George Nichol, Winston Newgray, Samuel Peking, Harrison Plath, Maxwell Pringle, Yash Ratanji, Jacob Sito, Callum Vone, Thomas Waterman, Isaac Wood, Callum Hinwood, House Vice Captain, and Joshua Anderson, House Captain.
Good afternoon. Rudd House 2017. Rupert Anisimov, Alex Apthorpe, Oliver Armstrong, Ben Beattie, Jack Buckley. Alex Campbell. Angus Cooper. William Deck. Oliver Duncan. Robin Essaku. Jacob Hedgedus. Trevor Jose. Fernando Hall. Leonard Kalati. Eric Lee. Isaac McLean. Ashley Maloney. Aaron Namalu. Cullen Namanu. Lachlan Phillips. Ryan Sawyer. Solomon Stone. Isaac Talbot. Prince Tanalau. Reese Van Neck. Xavier Velatapui. Jerry Wang. Justin Yao. Brandon Yateman. Billy Zakharov. Anthony Serqui, House Co-Vice Captain. Gage Winter-Solis, House Co-Vice Captain. And Callum Coe, Rudd House Captain.
Seniors of Wesley House are Jack Bates, Angus Cole, Benjamin DeRolls, Alexander Derrington, Hamish Derrington, Piers Feller, Joe Gilmore, Michael Griffiths, Evan Kuo, Harry Mogg, Finn Morrison, Alexander Murdoch, James Noon, William Plummer, Tom Pine, Lachlan Swinburne, Zudong Tang, Zuliang Tang, Alid Temperley, Jonathan Wimberger, June Wan, Jerry Yale, James Yelland, Thomas Church, House Vice Captain, and Thomas Buchan, House Captain.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the seniors of Weller House 2017. Tom Alton, Ryan Brown, Benjamin Crivello, Alex Crutchley, Kyle Doherty, Sam English Tate, Jonathan Forbes, Oliver Grant, Merrick Halloran, James Heading, Blake Holland, Aaron Horwood, Cameron Horwood, Ziyang Huang, Ben Israel, Carlos James, Johnny Newen, Scott Payton, Max Schultz, James Sexton, Jono Springthorpe, Max Williams, House Vice Captain for Weller in 2017, Alistair Waters, House Captain Weller 2017, Charles Merrick.
And so we see the departure of a group of boys who've led the school with distinction. And they've issued the challenge to the boys who remain in the hall to pick up the baton of leadership. And I know you will, boys, and you'll lead the school with distinction in 2018. That brings us to the end of this very important ceremony. It honours boys who've given so much to